My name is Alan Ward, and I'm the managing member and brewmaster for Brewing Brew School.
Awesome, fantastic. And is this your first time at the Renaissance Fair?
Not quite. I've been it's my 39th season in some capacity or another. 12th year as a shop owner, and 9th year at Brewing Brewery.
Nice, fantastic. And so, how did you start? Was it just attending, or were you drug in?
I made the second one in '75. My family came here as a young lad, and I fell in love with the place, and I kept coming back. And then in college, I had a professor who was teaching my fencing class, asked me to come out and do a little work with him out here. So I actually started fencing and did a little show right for a little while, and then just got hooked on it.
And that's fantastic. I love to hear about fencing because I actually used to do foil fencing when I was younger.
I did Olympics, so and I didn't do any rings in Olympic. I wasn't that great, wasn't that bad.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Now then, is there any specific training that you went through when you started brewing?
I've been brewing for 20 years, and I've gone through several classes, both with the Master Brewer Association of Americas and the BA. And I had a strong background in chemistry and physics, so I taught chemistry and physics for several years. So that gave me a really good, solid science background. And historically, I taught history for a while, so those two things, along with the just on-the-job training. Some people do go to school for being a brewmaster. It's expensive and long, and great experience. I'm just not one of them. I was learning on the fly.
Yeah, we've heard that a couple times from people who have taken up trades like leatherworking and stuff.
Yeah, that's leatherworking and trades a little. Yeah, those hard to go to school for college for leatherworking.
Yeah.
So those kind of trades are passed down generation to generation, which is traditional of the Renaissance Festival style and structures. We actually have an apprentice program here where our brewers come through our program and apprentice for a full year with us and learn by hands-on and doing things.
That's fantastic. And what's the process of becoming an apprentice?
We take applications starting in December for the following year, and we'll go through those, and then we'll interview them and see which ones we think is best fit for us and them, and see what their goals are, and then we'll sit down and make a choice. Brandon was this year with us, our apprentice this year, and we usually pick one or two. So it's an interview process and a knowledge process. We try to figure out who can have the best chance of succeeding at it and who has what they want to do with it if they go out there. A lot of our guys leave here and go to other breweries.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. I mean, apprenticeship style education, that's...
Yeah, it's traditional, and that's what we do. And the nice thing about our apprentice program is they'll work with us 17 days of the year during festival and on weekends starting around in August. So they get a good chance to work their day job, and they can work with us, and they'll get a chance to do everything from mop the floor to actually design a recipe. So they get all the steps in between there. They'll get the chance to try and do it. If you want to work for a larger brewery, you would get stuck at a loading dock, or you would, maybe doing a lab work or something, but you won't get to see the full spectrum of that whole job. And that's the nice thing about our setup here. They get the full spectrum.
Now, I gotta ask a question here real quick about recipe making. I actually interviewed a guy who runs a brewery, and he said one of his mistakes that he made was he designed a beer color first, and he did that when he was in college just starting out, and he said, I really wanted this really nice looking color, and then I made this beer with this perfect color, but it took a while to get the flavor in.
That's a strange way to do things. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't recommend that. No, when I do a recipe, I'll sit down and think what I want to accomplish with this beer. Is it a historical beer? Is it a style I'm trying to do? Is it a certain taste profile? And I work backwards from what I want to get from what I want to end up with to what I'm going to start with.
Yeah.
A prime example of that is we're doing a fundraiser for Long Way Home this year, next weekend. And we did a coffee porter for that, and I've never done one before. So we started out with what I want the flavor profile to be, and reverse engineer that beer back out to see what we want to have. And it's going to come out pretty good. We actually put it in the right tank and caked it today, so it's came out spot on. It's excellent.
Man, that sounds fantastic. I like coffee style brews that come out. So
yeah, they're nice. They wake you up and get you a little intoxicated at the same time.
Dangerous, more.
It can be. But making recipes is on my side is more of an art. It's kind of like cooking, but we're very anal here. We record everything we do, so it's all written down so we can try and change and tweak something we need to along the way.
Now then, do you like small batch things and just try and do different tests like that, or is it just make it and see how it comes out?
We've done both. With the coffee porter, we just sat down and did it. With a lot of our beers, we'll do them up front of the historical brewing first. We'll do a 5 or 10 gallon batch, and then we'll increase that up to 2 barrels and back. Scaling beers is not like making a larger pot of stew. You don't get the same thing out of your hops that you do as you add them on for more and more. So doubling the hops for a beer will not get you the same flavor profile out of it. So you have to tweak and adjust those a little bit.
That's very, very interesting. You know, I don't get to brew stuff at home, so.
You should. It's easy. Home brewing is simple. You can brew it easily. Just get a little pot and you can go to town.
Sorry, I had to glare at my wife for a second.
Well, see, my wife gave me Mr. Beer kit several years ago and said, brew at home. And then 12 years ago, she said, your hobby's out of control. You need to back off or go pro. So we said, I can go pro? So we opened the brewery up.
Yeah, that's that sounds like a great plan. I might have to take that up in a couple years.
Look all the money you save with brewing your own beer, and you get your own profile. And the nice thing about home brewing is you make a beer specifically what you want, the way you want it to taste. For example, I don't like something called black patent. It's a very harsh grain. It's almost roasted dark black and it's almost burnt. And it's what a key ingredient in Guinness is. So when I make a Guinness clone or something like that, I use a chocolate malt instead of that black patent. I get much better flavor profile out of that.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I mean, I'll drink Guinness. That's like if I'm at a bar and I can't really see anything that's local or anything like that I'd like to try, I'll just say, yeah, I'll go with the Guinness.
I'm not a big fan of Guinness. Guinness in Ireland is much better and different. It's a better beer, much flavor-wise. To me, the only way I drink Guinness is I can put a Bass, black and tan. There's much better beers in the market. And give them credit, they've been doing it for hundreds of years, but for my palate, I don't like the harsh end finish of a Guinness to it. So I'll choose something else. And nowadays, there's a huge plethora of beers out there on the market, so you can choose almost anything you want to out there.
I mean, most of the time, if I go to a bar, I don't actually get Guinness because, there's something local, right? There's always someone who is like, oh, yeah, I've got a brewery. There you go.
Exactly. That's the nice thing about beer. In the last 5-6 years, the explosion of craft beer has made it easy to find beer. Used to be when I was a younger lad, you go to the store and you have maybe 5 brands of that was it, and you drank your dad drank.
Yeah.
Nowadays, craft brewers go to the enthusiasts go to the store and they'll say, had it. Ooh, I haven't had that, and they'll get that. So they're all over the board. They want to try a variety of different beers. So it's a huge litany of explosion of flavor out there you can try. It's fantastic.
No, I'm gonna have to get back on track. I'm over here salivating. So, do you have any funny stories that you can share with us?
Funny stories. I got a really good one for you. We have apprentices work here with us. And about 5 years ago, I guess it was, 4 years ago, he'd been with me for 3 years, and we made a batch up front, and my production manager brought me the sample. We have a game we call What's the Actual Number? And we know what it should be, but we want to see what the actual gravity is going to be. So I have to guess and get it right on the money, otherwise I don't win. And he brought it to me, I looked at it, I said, this is green. He goes, yeah, I know. I said, we're not an Irish brewery, we're a Scottish brewery. Why do we have a green beer? He said, well, just try it. I said, I don't have to. It's all hops, I can tell you. It's hops. He goes, just try it. So I tried it. I said, my God, it's all hops. He goes, I said, is it in bed? He goes, yeah. And to us, that means there's the yeast on it. And yeast is a very expensive part of our brewing process. He goes, yes. Should I dump it out? I said, no. Let it sit a week. We'll see how it goes. So next week, he brought me on a sample out. We had a morning meeting. He said, what do you think? I said, let it sit another week.
Yeah.
Came back the third week. He goes, how about now? I said, carbonate it and put it in a wooden cask to bring out to me tomorrow. So he brought it out, set it up there, and what the lad had done is instead of putting in 0.5 ounces of hops, he put in 6 ounces of hops. Oh yeah, way over the line there. So he put it on the market, put it up on the wall, and says, must have manager's approval. Green Ogre.
Yeah.
And we sold out in 15 minutes. People loved it. It was just, my God, it was about 127 IBUs, and after 100 IBUs, you can't taste the bitterness.
Yeah.
So we still do that beer, but we backed down the hops being reasonable under 100.
That's insane.
Yes, it is. It is. It's a wee small problem of an issue there.
So, what do you do here? I mean, you already talked about how you're the head brewer and brewmaster and manager and a lot of hats.
Everything, right? We're a small company, so I do everything. Mm-hmm. We have about 15 employees who work with us part-time, but we all can do everything. The brewers can do anything there is in this brewery, and my servers only serve. They just serve front, but I do it all. I brew, serve, clean the commodes, do all kind of things. It doesn't matter. It has to be done, so we'll just do it. I also learned a long time ago, never ask your people to do anything you wouldn't do yourself first, and lead by example, not by a barking order. So I do everything from all the graphics works for our stuff, our website I do, all the recipes are mine, so it's a full-time job.
I can imagine a lot of time is taken up just with all the different hats.
It is. Plus, I have monthly sales tax and brewing federal and state reports to fill out. There is a plethora of information required by the state of Texas and the National Alcohol at TTB Board.
Yeah, I one of our clients is a winery / meadery, and they were like, yeah, so I've got this mead that I want to start selling, but I have to, I've sent in these forms and they haven't said I can print any of the labels yet.
You have to have label approval in Texas. There's two ways to go with label approval. If it's sold just in Texas, TABC has got a permitting process for label. You have to fill this form out, send your money in, send it to them along with a sample. And that could take anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks sometimes to come back. Then if you're going to sell nationally, you have to sell it through the TTB as a place to also file labels. They're a little easier and they don't really care as much as what's going on as the TABC does. The TABC cares about alcohol content, what's on the label, how the label's stated, what size font the label's in. It gets pretty technical on that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. It's like I'm not an English major or anything like that.
No, but they want it exactly the way they want to do it, and as long as you get it done right, then they'll send you the stuff back to you. We currently have label approval on about 12 of our beers, both nationally and locally. So it's just a hoop you have to learn to jump through.
Fantastic. So, considering all the different hats that you wear, what is a typical day during a festival look like for you?
Okay, so during a weekend festival, I'm up at 6 o'clock. Get up and we'll get ready. I come downstairs. I cook the breakfast for the crew. So we're done with the breakfast around 7:30 if the crew eats, and then at 8 o'clock we start getting ready for the day. That means wiping the counters down, getting our cup count set up. Then we'll grind grain in the back and get our tank going for water. That'll start up and take about an hour to get our water to temperature, and then we'll mash in and back, and in front we'll get ready to open up for the public. And then we'll brew beer in the back and brew beer up front and sell to the public and do classes and occasionally interviews with people, or maybe even a tap a keg with the king on stage. And we'll close at 8 o'clock at night, and then we will clean everything up. We'll clean our lines out, cook a meal for the crew for dinner, and that's about 10:30. And then about 11 o'clock we'll have what's called sample session. Breweries will send us different beers to try out. Some have labels on them, some have no label at all, just a number on it. So we'll do some blind sampling for other breweries, have a couple of beers, and then we bed at midnight and start again the next morning.
That's a real tight schedule right there.
It is. It's exciting, and this year the festival's been busy, so we have not had a chance to sit down. I'm glad you interviewed me because I get to sit down for a second.
Well, you're welcome for that. Yeah. Speaking of being busy, I mean, I was checking. We came this weekend, but I've been checking social media, and like the first 3 weekends. Every Monday after the weekend, I'd see a notification. We broke another record of people coming. Broke another record. It has been a great year for two things. First of all, the weather. We're a festival, and festivals live and die with weather. Yeah. Rain will kill you. And the temperatures, except for the first weekend, have been really pleasant and nice. So you got two good things going for you. The festival's done a great job of getting people here, advertising online, on TV. And I gave my hats off to the police officer, our new police chief. I can't think of his name right now, for Todd Misha, but he's actually done a really good job of getting traffic flowing in and out of the festival, which used to be a huge nightmare. So bring those things together, and it's meant large quality crowds. Also, the economy has kind of turned back around a little bit, so people are going to spend a little money. They want something to do, something local. This is the largest Renaissance festival in the United States, and we're proud to be part of it. And next year we're going to add a 9th weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, oh man, that's 9th weekend. Is that going to be after the Christmas, or do you know where that's being planned yet?
They have chosen to put that in the first week in September, last week of September. I would like to have seen it done in December, the week after Thanksgiving. Open up 1 week, maybe a nice Christmas, maybe a second Celtic Christmas weekend, only because it's cooler and it's a little more fun. Yeah. But that's also Dickens on the Strand, so I didn't want to compete with that. So we'll open up September 30th next year and go through the end of November.
That's fantastic. Now then, do you have any advice about to anyone who might be interested in joining up either as a brewer or doing a Renaissance Festival?
Well, it's two different things. I would say, first of all, don't open a brewery on a Renaissance Festival grounds. We're the only ones in the world doing it. I know why that's the case.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different structure. If you're going to want to join a Renaissance to work, just come out and get a job. There's always a job fair in August. Come out, interview for a couple of jobs, get a job and participate. That's the only way you're going to learn it. As far as brewing goes, follow your passion. Just start brewing at home and find a brewery locally to volunteer with or come out with us. Then go to our website, brigadoonbrewery.com, and there's a join our team. They click on that, fill the application out. We're always looking for good people. And we actually feed other breweries in the area too, so that's a good thing. Just find a local brewery and get involved with them. They'll be more than willing to help them, and you can learn too.
And then for the final question, gotta ask, you mentioned a website. Is that where people can purchase beer if they're not able to come to the festival, or do you have a distributor, or?
You cannot sell beer. You're trying to get me in trouble, aren't you, lad?
No.
You cannot sell beer online. You can sell wine to the mail, but not beer. It's a state of Texas law. We can help us change that law this year.
Yeah.
No, our website will give you information about our beers, what we have each weekend. We have Taste Texas class. We invite other brewers out to do a class with us. So all that information will be on our website. And they can follow us on brigadoon.brewery on Facebook and Brew School on Twitter. And that'll get you all the information. We're pretty active on the social media network. But the best way is to follow us either on our website and our Facebook page.
Awesome, fantastic. And so just to close out, do you have anything you'd like to add, anything that I might have missed, any questions you think I should ask?
Oh, Lord, we're going to start from scratch there, lad. That's a wee bit of one. No, I think you've done a good job with your questions. I would tell you that brewing is an art and a science together, and if you're interested in it, just get a kit and start brewing. You can't fail.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
And I can't wait to try some more.
The taps are over there. They're open.